Okay, so here's the $1 million question. You want to get work done. You have a particular like celebrity or model in mind. Can you just decide you want to look like her and just find the right doctor to do that? Like, how do you go about choosing a doctor?
Yeah, feeling great. I can't wait till my girl wake up and make me a freak shake. I like it sweet.
There's a lot of factors that come into choosing your doctor. The doctor's history, your body type, the type of look that you want, your goal, and I mean the other variables happen as you look through, because then you have more questions and stuff that might come up. You have to choose a body type that's very similar to yours, because you can't look at Beyonce but then your shape is more like Halle Berry. Like they're two different complete body types. And so you would choose your doctor based off of the type of work that your doctor typically does. So if you want a baby doll look, then your doctor specializes in piling it up on and snatching it tight, and you have, you know, a really, really small waist, really big boobs, and really big hips. But then also you have a doctor that specializes more in a natural look. So then he'll look like he'll do some work that looks like it was made in the gym.
So what you're saying is, before you go in and choose your doctor, you also have to think about, be realistic about your body, just biologically, like how you're made up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you're changing who you are, but you still have to be realistic.
Yes, because there is a foundation that the doctor has to build on.
That sounds like you're telling women to manage their expectations. How much of that did you have to do?
It actually wasn't my goal to look like a particular person, but it was my goal to be my best self. So I just looked at myself and I said, okay, I want my waist to be smaller. I want my boobs to be back to the size that they were. And I just want them to be uplifted and perky. So mine is the more natural look. Like I could have made it in the gym. You can't really tell that I've had work done unless you saw me along the journey and you'd be like, wait a minute, your booty's a little bit perkier than it was last month.
But I want to fact check that, because I feel like you had to manage your expectations more than you're saying. Because when you first went in for the lipo and the BBL, you expected your stomach to be pretty flat, your skin to retract, and that was it.
Yes.
I was kind of on the other end saying, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well,
you were kind of being super optimistic.
The doctors told me that my skin might retract back. But that wasn't...
Might. Y'all heard that?
Yeah, he said because I was very young and I still had a lot of elasticity.
Rubber band man.
I still had a lot of... No, I
Elasticity.
couldn't even say a lot of now. I still had a lot of elasticity in my skin. So he assumed, he said, well, just test it out. I wouldn't tell you to go and jump off of the Golden Gate Bridge when you haven't even learned how to jump off of the diving board. So he recommended, and he was a skin specialist, and he said to go and try and have the lipo done first, and you might have some skin that will retract back, which it actually did, but not
There
to
was
the
some
point,
retraction, that's true.
not to the point
But
where
not-
I wanted it to.
So for instance, I remember with the BBL, like you have to have a certain amount of fat transfer in order to create.
You have to have a certain amount of fat to transfer from other parts of your body to your butt. If you don't have any fat, then it wouldn't be a fat transfer. It would be an implant to have the butt.
Or if you only had a certain amount of fat and your expectation is to have something like really large,
yeah,
you have
like
to,
a Nicki Minaj booty, you would definitely have to have an implant.
unless you can have some of your friends donate.
My friends and I talked about that all the time. Like, I wish I could transfer fat to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice place. I got a T-bone, hope you like steak. You got a boyfriend.
How did race play a factor in your choice of doctor?
Race played a huge factor because one doctor I went to a consultation, he told me that black skin is a lot thicker, which means the lipo would have been harder for him to do because it's more coarse. It was, his terms are
his
really.
skin is almost like our hair. He's talking about our skin.
Yes,
like our hair.
it was like very.
You thought you went to a local barber.
It was actually pretty racist. I was like, okay, you're not the person. And then he tried to also charge me $25,000 only for lipo. Oh, that was ridiculous. But then I went to another doctor. I looked at all of his before and after pictures, and he had women of color. He had women with a similar shape and everything. And that's the type of doctor you would choose as a doctor that already specializes in specifically what you have and what you're looking to get.
And then you also talked about the natural look versus, what you said, baby doll?
Yeah, natural look versus a baby doll look.
Is it baby doll or just doll?
Well, you got me saying baby doll. Natural versus this doll snatched, extra snatched look.
So there's some doctors that do that and
Yes.
some doctors that don't.
Yes.
And put some meat on that. Like, what's that mean?
So in the state of California, well, actually more, I think in the U.S., the doctors have a lot of restrictions on how many liters they could take off of fat, and also how much skin can be removed, so that they wouldn't cause any deaths or serious injuries. So then the doctors in the U.S. typically have a restriction, so they can only do more of a natural look. They will try and do the do the doll look. The doctors will try and do the doll look, but sometimes they can't. So then you have to go back for a second round so they can snatch you in some more, because then that would be, a second surgery. If you go outside the U.S., like Dominican Republic or Mexico, they don't have those restrictions, and those doctors a lot of times specialize in the snatched doll look, where you have your waist pulled in really, really tight. They take basically almost all the extra skin off, and you just feel sucked in like you're brand new. And then they'll give you super big hips, super big round butt, and then they'll give you like very full breasts.
So then the situation is there are U.S. doctors, foreign doctors.
Yes.
The U.S. doctors are under tighter restrictions, probably the FDA or some sort of like board governing them. And they do the work, but you don't end up looking as snatched.
Yes.
But if you go foreign to the DR or something like that, those doctors have fewer restrictions. They snatch you, you come out looking with that doll image that you see on Nykiel.
Yes.
Mm.
But then also with the foreign doctors, they have higher death rates because they don't follow the restrictions and they go to the very extreme. There's this one doctor that I heard of through the grapevine that he's the doctor to go to, but they
Dr. Death?
Yeah, you got it. Yes, they call him Dr. Death, but girls still go to him because he achieves that look that they want.
So as long as you can survive his surgery,
yes,
you're going to come out looking right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I'm assuming there's an affordability factor also. Are you all right?
Yes.
You dropping stuff on your
my new news.
your newly boobs? I'm assuming there's an affordability factor as well between going U.S. and going foreign. Did that kind of tap into?
I think with the new years coming up and new current times where there's a lot more people going to have plastic surgery, doctors out here in the U.S. are actually dropping their prices. I originally heard that the place to go to have work done under the $10,000 to have like the full head to toe, they call it a mommy makeover. Breast redone because you have breast babies sucking on them, they go down. You have the tummy tuck because of all this extra skin, and then you have the butt done because the weight gain and the weight loss, and it deforms your hips. So they'll go do the mommy makeover and probably pay only like $20,000. But out here in the U.S., they used to be like $60 and up. And that is only for the surgery. That doesn't include any other accessories that you have to have is required. It doesn't include any overnight stays, or if you have to stay in a recovery home, hotel stays, food during that, your prescriptions, all that stuff adds up. But I found some doctors out here in the U.S., in Miami, and also in Southern California that have really good prices, and they compete with the international doctors. And the international doctors are a lot cheaper, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to fly, and the worst thing to do after having surgery is flying.
Oh, because of blood clots.
Because of blood clots, and you can't sit for an extended period of time. You can't have your BBL and then sit on a plane for like 6 to 7 hours. You lay on your stomach for the next few months.
So a lot of your choice in selecting your doctor is also what type of work you're going to have done.
Yes.
Because that could determine, if you're overseas, how long you're going to have to stay overseas before
Yes.
you can fly home.
Yes. And there was one girl, she went and had some work done, and she had a hard time going through customs because a lot of people from in the past, I think they would put
There's
drugs
a lot of dudes that
in
like
their
big booty
no,
and
the
customs.
women would put drugs in their implants, and when they come back across, they were bringing it back. So then one girl came through, and they had her take off everything, scanned her, filled her up and down to make sure she wasn't carrying anything.
I think that was more about, just taking advantage of the situation.
Whatever.
A lot of, if I was working in customs, that's what I would do. Excuse me, ma'am.
That's a pervert.
You have explosives. We're going to have to take you. Would you like a private room?
That's ridiculous. So
But-
yeah, I think traveling internationally is a lot riskier. You have to also, when you travel international, take into account that your doctor might not give you the pass to go and travel back home. You might have to end up staying back a little bit longer and change your flight. That's more expensive.
One thing I noticed about the U.S. doctors is both your doctors had several campuses or several offices.
Yes.
And which also meant that they had other doctors that were a part of their practice.
Yes.
How would you, if you were giving advice to somebody, how would you tell them to go about choosing their doctor? Like, there's a difference between the doctor's office and the doctor who performs the surgery.
Yeah. So when I went to go do the research, I chose the leading doctor, the more senior doctor. I also chose a doctor who owned the practice because I
Meaning
wanted.
that's the doctor that performed your surgery.
The doctor that performed my surgery was the doctor who opened the location and hired all his other staff doctors that also do other work as well. So Dr. Alvarez, I chose him because he was on the TV show The Doctors. They had a lot of articles written about him. He specialized in his work. He had been doing it for several years, and he had 2 locations, one in Miami and then one in Texas. And so when he was in Miami, I went to go have work done from him in Miami. And I also saw reviews saying Dr. Alvarez was amazing. Then Dr. Nykiel, he had 2 locations in Southern California, and we went to Newport Beach location, and I just liked him because I originally wanted to go to him to see, because he specialized in a skin tightening procedure, and he went and he trained, and he trains all other doctors to do that. So I'm like, well, if he goes the extra step in being a specialist in skin tightening and whatever he does, then that I felt like he was also an expertise in the work that he does. So I decided to go to Dr. Nykiel.
Okay, so then for your BBL and your Lipo, 360, right?
Yes.
You would recommend Dr. Alvarez?
Yes. The only downside about Dr. Alvarez is because his practice is so huge, and I say huge is the number of women that he does in a day. He herds you in and out like cattle. So I wanted to be his very first appointment. He's fresh, and he's like in a good mood, and he gets you in, he talked to me, and then he got me right out.
I don't know if I want to be first, though.
I want
Maybe
to be
second or
no,
third.
I
Let him
wanted-
warm up.
No, I wanted to be first.
Okay.
You get up in the morning, you feel good, you feel fresh.
Y'all go for
He
second
had
or
his
third.
cup of coffee, and he's fueled.
You
and
want
he's
that
ready
coffee
to
to
go.
kick in real good.
Coffee had
second
kick-
or third time
No.
is there.
Coffee had kicked in already.
I saw the girl that went in second. She was bad.
I saw the girl that went in second. I heard the girl who was there, she also went to Dr. Alvarez for her breast augmentation. Her breasts looked great. So it didn't matter what Dr. Alvarez did. It seemed like he was just good overall.
No matter what part of the day.
Yeah.
He's great all
He
day.
did breast augmentation. He did tummy tucks. He does BBLs. He did a great job.
So Dr. Alvarez is a lot like me.
And not
no
like
matter what
Dr.
time of the day.
Alvarez because he does the injections of fat into the muscle, so it looks more of a natural, but it's a lot riskier, and a lot of doctors don't do that. And so then you don't have the drop that happens after a while.
Oh.
I learned that when we went to Dr. Nykiel.
You want to make it drop at the club, but not after the surgery.
You want to drop it like it's hot at the club, but you don't want your booty to literally drop.
So then for the tummy tuck, the breast aug, you'd recommend Dr. Nykiel.
Yes, and also for lipo, because when we went to Dr. Nykiel, then he talked about specializing in liposuction. And he felt that some doctors over lipo certain areas and under lipo certain areas, and then he was pointing out where, but he seemed like he was very knowledgeable. So I would recommend him for those.
Choose the right doctor, guys. It's a process. You can do it.
Yeah, feeling great. I can't wait till my girl wake up and make me a freak shake. I like it sweet, like this beat, like an ice cream truck is cruising down the street. Every time I take her back, she make me lose my mind, yeah. Wonder how she got this junk so tall, it's like a mountain. I would search the galaxy just so I can find her. Baby, you